2 years ago, going on 3, Memphis was in the national spotlight after a 16-year-old gay boy was forced to attend Love in Action's Refuge program. The media took great interest in this story, as did many young people who stood out there every day and protested, saying, "You cannot do this to one of us." That summer, there was a young man who was in that program named Jacob Wilson, and he's with us today. He's come to Memphis to share some of his story. So I present Jacob Wilson.
Thank you, Peterson. My name is Jacob Wilson, and I'm 22 years old and a survivor of the ex-gay ministry Love in Action. When I was 19 years old, my world seemed to fall apart. After the ending of a 1.5-year secret relationship with a young Assemblies of God minister in the summer of 2005, and the discovery of this relationship by my church and family, I was faced with a very difficult decision. Number 1, I could attend Love in Action, or 2, be exposed to my entire church, humiliated, and was threatened by my church leadership that my former partner would be stripped of his ministry and be blackballed from ministry in general. I was given 1 week to contact Love in Action and make up my mind. I made one of the most difficult decisions of my life. A decision that would have many unforeseen and unimaginable consequences. When I entered Love in Action, July 16th of 2005, I was at an all-time spiritual high. My faith and devotion had never been stronger. I entered skeptically with the promise through phone interviews and conversation with my church and Love in Action leadership that change is not just possible, but highly probable, they said. I was told to have faith in God's healing power and to pursue holiness. Sadly, it wasn't until my check had cleared that I was informed by Love in Action what change really meant. The first few days were the most difficult. I was stripped of all my personal possessions, like family pictures, certain clothes, scented shampoo, music, and I was told I could not even keep a journal. I was told I could not talk for 3 days for my well-being and the safety of the other people in the house. The first day, I was immersed in a group sessions, one-on-one counseling session, and informed that becoming straight should not be my goal, but rather being able to control my inappropriate urges and live a holy life, ultimately by suppressing and denying my true identity. There were many emotionally abusive and devastating experiences at Love in Action, 2 of which still haunt me today. The first was the reintroduction process to my family and friends. Basically, I had to end all contact with them until I confessed every sin, lie, and transgression I could remember. I had to tell my parents about sexual encounters and many other things in great detail that a man should never have to discuss with his mother. The other event was the Friends and Family Weekend. My parents had 1 chance to visit me in the 2 months that I was in Love in Action. Every client had to stand before a crowd of over 100 strangers and their closest family and friends, and share the deepest, darkest, most shameful event of our lives. I will never forget the look of pain and fear in my parents' eyes and on their faces as they realized that they had no idea what they had gotten themselves into. The point of both of these events was to get us in touch with our guilt and shame so that we could connect with it. This connection was intended to help bring about our much sought-after change. In retrospect, I see these events as abusive, cruel, and utterly disgusting. Many people wonder why I willfully entered the program, and once I got there, why I stayed. Well, I find my answer to be similar to most everyone I met while I was in the program. Every other person, my friends, in Love in Action had hit rock bottom in their lives, having a very hard time reconciling their faith and their spirituality. We turned to our spiritual leaders, our pastors, families, friends, and others for help, and they pointed us toward ex-gay ministries. Like starving children, we ran toward this promise of spiritual feeding and freedom. We put all of our faith, money, hope, and our hearts out on the line to find some kind of peace. As for why I stayed, I can only speak for myself. For the first time in my life, I met other people, kind, gentle, real people, who were going through the same things I was and who shared many of my same experiences. For the first time in my life, I found a niche with other gay Christians, struggling to understand all the craziness of our lives. The other people in Love in Action and I formed an unusual and unexplainable bond, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. We were all each other had in the most vulnerable situation in our entire lives. Whereas there was a lot of harm and abusive things that occurred while I was at Love in Action, I can honestly say that the friends in the program grew to be family. They knew all of my flaws in great detail and still loved me regardless. I am grateful for meeting such amazing people, and I pray they are able to heal as I am, slowly but surely. I am not here today for my 15 minutes of fame or to be an activist. I am here as a regular guy who wants other young adults like myself who may be struggling to reconcile their faith and sexuality to know that they are not alone. They are not damaged, and they are definitely not broken. I want to set the record straight and let people know the truth about the ex-gay movement. The things you don't see on websites and in brochures, and that the ministries conveniently leave out and don't tell you. However, the most important thing I want other young adults and young people to know is that they do have a choice. You can choose to be yourself, love yourself and every aspect of your being, and be the unique, whole person God created you to be. No decision is easy, no road is clear, but having traveled both paths, I find that accepting myself has brought more happiness, joy, love, and acceptance into my life than I ever could have imagined. And I want to thank you so much for allowing me to share my story. Thank you.